this economy was a negative 1.58% in 2016. Now we have a positive of 0.83%. We haven't really finished this deficit.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
That's correct.
So technically, we're good, but we're not so good.
Not so good. And we're saying for us to be so good, or for us to move to good, not even fairly good, for us to move to good, we need to do those things that we need to do. We need to address ease of doing business environment. You know, one of the growth sector now is transportation. And you ask yourself, what happened to transportation? Has federal government started constructing new dual carriageways? Is the railways working from one end of the country to the other? Not quite so. See, this is
not much of the railways, but the roads. I've seen a number.
Well, repair, but this is dry season.
Yes.
Giving you for.
So the Ministry of Works and Housing is moving fast.
This is dry season. Trailers and trucks easily navigate bad road better during dry season than rainy season.
So the throughput time is much shorter.
Yes, it's shorter. It's shorter and easier. You know, the cost of repairs and everything. But rain is about coming back. You know, is that going to be sustained? So that is why I'm saying that the growth we've seen, whether driven, externally driven, and all of those things. But we need to internalize and sustain this growth is ease of doing business.
A quick one. Throughout last year and now as we're entering a new year, what are your members at the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry saying about the state of the macroeconomy?
They're saying that it is, apart from the calm, a little bit of calm they saw in the FX market, every other will still have a lot of challenges, especially when the ease of doing business was moved from 169 to 145. And the biggest leap was from ease of getting credit, 15 points. That is not correct. From banking sector, giving loan to our members shrink by 2%. And you find out that what was actually measured was effort of government to, in some of the critical bills passed, like the movable asset, collateral register, but not the on-lending to the private sector. So you see a situation where the World Bank is of doing business measures effort, you know, instead of outcome and result or impact. And that is what we want to begin to see.
Okay.
That it is important that we start measuring how fast we're taking our raw materials from the north to Lagos or to the south, and how fast we're taking the finished goods from industry to other parts of the country. When we measure that, instead of just looking at the
efforts we're making, the policies, which means we need to translate that to real numbers. Professor Waleke, for Professor of Finance at National University, I'm sure you're still there with us. You've been listening to this conversation. How do we take this look back, or what you call, how do we look forward with this rear view GDP?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you notice, the GDP growth of 0.83% for 2017 fell short of projections, whether it is IMF or World Bank. I recall the IMF had projected 1.8% growth rate for Nigeria in 2017. And in 2018, the projection by IMF is 2.1%. That of the World Bank is 2.5%. And even in our budget, 2018 budget, we are a lot more ambitious, a bit more ambitious, projecting 3.5%. So for that to happen, we need to, as I said, work on the enablers. The enablers for me, you know, particularly infrastructure, energy. You know, these are the enablers that will, you know, galvanize these other critical sectors that we're talking about. Manufacturing cannot grow without power. Okay, the same for agriculture, same for construction, and so on. So that we rely less on oil. Yes, we talked about the effect of the stability we've had in, you know, the foreign exchange market, partly on account of the growing reserves. But the reserves, again, if you look at the composition, is again more of you know, oil revenue. The challenges remain. Inflation is still high at 15.13% as of January. And yes, the concerns about interest rates, but again, interest rates, for interest rates to come down, inflation to, has to come down. Otherwise, the MPC may not be disposed to, reduce the monetary policy rate. Again, government needs to borrow less from the domestic economy, and I'm happy they're beginning to shift focus away from domestic economy so that interest rates can, begin to come down. Unemployment is very high at 18.8%. And if you add underemployment, you're talking about 40%. So with your growth rate of 0.83%, you don't expect that to have a meaningful impact, particularly where population growth is around 2.7, 2.8%, higher than the GDP growth. So for us to begin to make a meaningful impact, okay, we need to work on these other, ensure that these other critical sectors, grow. Because these are the employment-generating sectors.
Professor, I got one final question for you. And thank you very much for being part of the program since we started. One last question for you, and just so they will let you go. Do you think 2018 will be what you call the beginning of normalization for the Buhari's economy?
I am positive about it. I am optimistic. I think we are not relapsing again. The economy is not going to go into recession again. If you study progress, if you look at the figures, even the numbers, from 13 trillion 31 trillion in 2017, compare that to 29 trillion, in nominal terms, GDP in nominal terms. So it's been steady progress. And I think, yes, the economy will continue on this growth trajectory, even though it may not be as, as high as we have projected in 2018. But there is hope.
Professor Uche Waleke of the Nasarawa State University in the Department of Finance, thank you very much for your time today. And from Abuja, so enjoy the scenery around our office. I'm sure you can spend a few more time before you get back to your classroom. And then a cup of coffee, as usual. Hospitality, Channels Television, political headquarters in Abuja. Let's take a break. Vincent Wan is still here. He's wrapping up the program for us. He's going to speak to normalization and a few words he has on his outlook for the current economic year and the GDP will be expected.